Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Thursday, December 26, 2024. I'm Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is Sunshine Cathedral's Executive Minister, he's also my husband, Bishop Robert Griffin, and Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Connections, the Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be a part of it, no matter where you live in the world. And if you live in South Florida, be sure to check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. If you enjoy the Queer God Squad, please share this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities. At Sunshine Cathedral, we want you to know that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Queer crisis lines saw calls exponentially increase after the election. The LGBTQ community faces a very problematic time in American history. American voters have re-elected Donald Trump, not through a constitutional loophole, but by popular vote. In 2016, he won the Electoral College, but did not win the popular vote. And in 2020, he lost soundly, but refused to accept the defeat, never conceded, refused to ceremoniously transfer power to his successor, and instigated a violent attack on the U.S. Capitol. This repeatedly bankrupt, mendacious, crude, cruel, adjudicated rapist and 34-time convicted felon, however, in 2024 legitimately won the election. More Americans wanted him to be president than those who did not, despite his record, his temperament, his dearth of principles, and his proven criminality. His campaign demonized trans people, threatened mass deportations of immigrants and refugees, promised rewards for the super rich, and embraced Christian nationalism. That he not only seized power, but was given it democratically to follow through on his dystopian agenda is, to some of us, horrifying. Following the elections, the Trevor Helpline, a crisis line for queer youth, saw a 700% increase in calls. The LGBT National Hotline saw a fivefold increase. Many fear that LGBTQ gains of the last few years are in jeopardy. Certainly, fair play, excellence, equity, and celebration of diversity will be hampered at the federal level for a few years. What does the Queer God Squad say to those who are honestly terrified right now? I get it. I think, speaking only for myself, I get it. I think there's a lot of folks who are really, really terrified about what could happen. It just astonishes me that he actually won the popular vote. I don't get that at all. I will say a couple of things. Thank goodness for those crisis lines. Thank goodness for the people who are there, who can help, who can talk. And I would also say for those who are really terrified, find your community. Find your community. It may not be your biological family. Find your community. Find those who love you, care about you, support you. Find folks like Sunshine Cathedral, like the Trevor Crisis Line. There's people out there who honestly care. Find those folks.
Yeah, there is the Trevor Project. There's the Born This Way Foundation, Lady Gaga. There is the Lambda Legal Defense Fund.
Yes.
There is the Human Rights Campaign. There is GLAD. There is GLISTEN. So these are the names to know. Not only the hotlines, but just places with information, up-to-date news, some resources, some talking points, some advocacy, some lobbying. So these are all the American Civil Liberties Union.
Yes.
So these are names to know. Look them up, find out what they're about. PFLAG, find out what they're about, how they can be encouraging to you, supportive for you. Put their, if you send them a donation, they'll probably send you all kinds of things, bumper stickers and refrigerator magnets. And you just put all that everywhere just to encourage you, and so you have quick access to a website or a phone number. So do that.
Yeah.
Also, sunshinecathedral.org, Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook, Sunshine Cathedral on YouTube, Sunshine Cathedral on Instagram, Sunshine Cathedral on TikTok, though honestly, we're not doing as much with TikTok as we need to do. We'll do better. But all those other, we're on night and day. Every few minutes, there's a new thing. There is the Global Justice Institute. Robert and I both have our separate bishop pages on Facebook. There's a lot of stuff out there where you're going to hear good information, encouraging information, someone on your side, and the affirmation of, so be part of a community. That has been the survival. Native Americans, African Americans, women, and the battles for voting, for bodily autonomy, for serving in the military, and so on. Asian Americans, queer people. When you have a community, you're not suffering alone. You have a lot of different ideas to bounce around, and when you need it, you have this fortress. You have this safe place, and so yeah, it's gonna be tough. But the whole world, everything isn't about what Congress does or what the Supreme Court does or what one president does. Presidents are limited. They can only be there for 8 years. Congress is limited. The House you have to revote for them every 2 years. Governors in the states, they go through every 4 years. So there's senators. A third of the Senate is up every time. So yeah, every 2 to 4 years we have an opportunity to shake things up. Whether or not we take advantage of that, and even if we lose every single time, I would much rather lose a fight than just hand over my rights.
Right.
Just, here they come marching, where it's like, oh, here, take it. I would much rather lose a fight than not show up for one.
Right.
And then the ones you show up for, sometimes you do win. Or sometimes you don't lose as much as you would have if you hadn't stood up. So, yeah, I know it's scary. Of course it's scary. We're scared. But I'm also angry.
Yeah.
And that's something. And I'm also concerned, for other people and what they're going through. And you were looking at old people at this table. So we've been through the die-ins, and we've been through the marches, and we've been on the letter writing campaigns, and we've been at the protests and the demonstrations, and we've been to the guerrilla theater, and we've given the speeches at events in the parks. We've been preaching an inclusive and justice message for decades each. So we're not new to this. So yeah, to do what we used to do, it's going to take a little bit of being gay on the joints. It's going to be limping with the plantar fasciitis. It's going to got to be in by 9 instead of midnight because one just has to get some rest. So we're going to do it a little slower and with a few more aches and pains. But we know what to do. So don't panic. The old folks have got you. But when it comes to staying up late, we're going to need you. So, but we're going to show you what to do. We're going to do it with you as much as we can. Don't panic. There's one thing you have that we didn't have is the wisdom of elders. Because when we were younger, our elders were dying. They didn't get to be old. AIDS was taking people out and driving people back into the closet. And so we had to figure it out. You got us. And so that's not nothing. So I can't tell you not to worry. I'm worried. I can just tell you you're not alone. And you got some pretty fierce co-warriors on your side.
As I think about the crisis line that went up exponentially after all this happened, I'm also mindful of those people who don't know how or where to reach out. So I want to encourage those who are in a position to help others reach out, do it. As we said, we're all in this together. We really are all in this together, y'all. And I think it's also incumbent upon us to look out for each other. That if you have that one friend that may be pulling back a little bit more than normal or just not being present as much, reach out to them. Just check in on them because none of us know what the future is going to hold, but we've just been told a lot about the future. And we have to prepare for the future as best as we can. And I think that preparation is also a part of it, is checking in on each other and being encouraging to each other and to find those places and those resources that help us that can also benefit someone else. And so, as a kid growing up in Alabama, there was nothing like this when I was a kid growing up. Right. We believed on word of mouth. Word of mouth was always accurate. Today, you have access to resources right in your hand if you have a cell phone, or you have community centers or places like Sunshine Cathedral that you can turn to. You don't have to go through this by yourself, and reach out This is not a time to be silo or to be in isolation. These lines are there for a reason. Take advantage of them. And resources like Sunshine Cathedral is here. Take advantage of it. So be aware that we are here for you. And that's what we have to offer.
And sometimes you need a thing when you need it. And okay, what was that number? What was that hotline? What was the name of that thing? Write this down, but even if you don't write it down, you can probably remember this. name@sunshinecathedral.org. That's the email. So the aim, Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T, Robert at sunshinecathedral.org. Durrell, D-U-R-R-E-L-L, D-U-R-R-E-L-L. Is it one or is it two? But it's always double. D-U-R-R-E-L-L at sunshinecathedral.org. And A-N-N-E, A-N-N-E, 4 letters, A-N-N-E at sunshinecathedral.org. So if you will email us, email all of us. One of us will catch it before the others. Or any one or two or three that you can remember. It's the name at sunshinecathedral.org. And just say, you said all those, I don't remember what they are. We'll give you the list again. We'll give you the numbers. We'll look it up. So you never have to be without. Email us. We'll put you on our prayer list. We'll say an encouraging word, and we'll give you these resources that we've talked about. You don't have to be without them.
That's right.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together.
Wherever you may find yourself today, remember, we are all in this together. Remember that. You are God's miracle and not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.
Goodbye.